What if I told you the Back to the Future cast didn't just mess with time? They messed with Hollywood paychecks too. From cameos worth a few grand to multi-million-dollar deals, this trilogy was a financial flux capacitor. Today, we're time traveling through the real dollars of Hill Valley to see who struck gold and who barely bought a hoverboard. Okay, let's kick off with one of the coolest cameos you might have missed, a young Elijah Wood. Before Frodo, before The Ring, before all the tears in Mordor, he was just video game boy in Back to the Future Part 2. He was 8 years old and earned a few $1,000 for a blink and you'll miss it scene. Imagine being that young and already part of movie history. Elijah didn't know it, but that tiny role was his first step into Hollywood legend. And let's be real, few child actors could say their debut involved a hoverboard and Marty McFly. Next up is Flea, the Red Hot Chili Peppers bassist turned actor. In Part 2 and Part 3, he played Douglas Needles, Marty's annoying rival who's always pushing him to do something stupid. Classic high school energy, right? Flea reportedly made around 50 grand across both films, which isn't bad for what's basically a musical side quest. And it fits him perfectly. Loud, unpredictable, and totally chaotic. He's still rocking at 63, worth over $100 million. Not bad, Needles. The original Jennifer Parker, Claudia Wells. She played Marty's girlfriend in Part 1 but didn't return for the sequels. Her salary was about $70,000 and she was just 19 at the time. She stepped away from acting to care for her mother, which is pretty admirable. Most fans remember her chemistry with Michael J. Fox. They felt like a real teenage couple. She's still beloved by the fandom, often showing up at conventions and embracing her OG Jennifer status. Even though she missed out on the sequels, her version remains the most authentic to many fans. Here's one of Biff's goons, Skinhead, played by J.J. Cohen. He's one of those classic 80s bullies, all attitude, no brain cells. He appeared in the first 2 films, earning roughly $80,000 across them. Cohen's got one of those faces you instantly recognize in background shots. Fun fact, he actually auditioned for Biff before Thomas F. Wilson got the part. Imagine that alternate timeline. He might not have been the star, but being part of Biff's gang in Back to the Future is still a badge of honor in movie history. These guys practically defined 80s bad guys. Then we've got Casey Siemasko, who played 3D, the guy with those goofy red and blue glasses glued to his face. He popped up in Part 1 and Part 2, collecting about $90,000 total. Casey went on to appear in Young Guns and Stand By Me, carving out a solid career as a dependable character actor. The funny part is, his 3D glasses became more iconic than his actual face. Today, he's in his 60s, semi-retired, but still remembered for helping bring Hill Valley's most infamous gang to life. Now here's a name that aged like fine wine, Billy Zane, who played Match, another one of Biff's sidekicks. Just 19 when he filmed Part 1, Zane went on to become Cal from Titanic, the jerk fiancé we all love to hate. Back in Hill Valley, he earned about $120,000 across 2 movies. Not bad for someone mostly standing around looking cool. But here's the kicker. Fans often say this role launched his career, from background thug to blockbuster villain in under a decade. That's Hollywood for you. Sometimes it all starts with a pair of shades and a hoverboard. Slackers. You can almost hear it, right? James Tolkan's performance as Principal Strickland was legendary, the no-nonsense authority figure who probably hasn't smiled since the Eisenhower era. He appeared in all 3 films, earning about $250,000 in total, and became a cult favorite. Tolkan also showed up in Top Gun, which just cemented his tough guy reputation. In Part 3, he even played a Western version of Strickland, the Marshal. Same attitude, different hat. The man was 54 during the first film and is still with us in his 90s. Now that's what I call discipline, not slacking off. Here's where it gets messy. Jeffrey Weissman replaced Crispin Glover as George McFly in Parts 2 and 3. After Glover famously clashed with the studio, Weissman made around $270,000, but the controversy still follows him. Universal even used prosthetics to make him look like Glover, a move that led to one of Hollywood's most debated likeness lawsuits. Despite the awkward circumstances, Weissman handled it like a pro. He may not be the original George, but he helped keep the character alive so the story could continue. Not an easy gig, but someone had to do it. When Claudia Wells couldn't return, Elizabeth Shue stepped in as Jennifer Parker. She had just come off The Karate Kid, so she was already Hollywood's sweetheart. She earned around $350,000 across the 2 sequels, which was a solid paycheck for a supporting role. Shue's Jennifer had a slightly different vibe, more polished, more 80s glam, and fans still debate which version they prefer. Either way, she went on to bigger hits like Leaving Las Vegas and even The Boys recently. The heart of Back to the Future Part 3, Mary Steenburgen as Clara Clayton, the perfect match for Doc Brown. Her $500,000 paycheck reflected both her Oscar-winning status and her central role in the finale. She brought warmth and dignity to the Wild West story, grounding it in real emotion. Her chemistry with Christopher Lloyd, absolutely magical. Steenburgen's still active today, appearing in Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist and countless other projects. She's the soul of the 3rd film, proof that even in a story about time travel, love can make time stand still. Ah yes, the original George McFly, Crispin Glover, one of the most eccentric actors in Hollywood, and boy did he make an impression. At 21, he earned about $880,000 for Part 1, playing Marty's awkward but lovable dad. Glover's quirky energy made George unforgettable, equal parts nervous wreck and poetic dreamer. But behind the scenes, drama. He clashed with producers over creative control and salary, which led to his exit before Part 2. Still, his impact was massive. Without Glover's oddball charm, George McFly wouldn't be half as iconic or as hilariously uncomfortable. Leah Thompson was the emotional heart of the trilogy. She played not just Marty's mom, but also her own ancestor, Maggie McFly. She earned close to $900,000 total. What's amazing is how she balanced comedy, romance, and straight-up weirdness. I mean, kissing your time-traveling son is a bold career move. Leah went on to star in Howard the Duck, Caroline in the City, and later became a director herself. Even today, she's one of those actresses fans instantly associate with the golden age of 80s cinema. Now here's a guy who deserves more credit, Thomas F. Wilson. He didn't just play Biff, he played his entire family tree of bullies, from futuristic punks to Wild West outlaws. His total salary across the trilogy was about $1.2 million, but the legacy, priceless. Wilson practically built the archetype of the cinematic bully. He turned make like a tree and get out of here into movie quote gold. Even off-screen, he's hilarious. Did you know he does stand-up comedy now? From manure to meme legend, Biff Tannen remains one of the greatest movie villains ever created. Great Scott! You can't talk Back to the Future without Doc Brown. Christopher Lloyd brought the mad scientist archetype to life. Wild hair, wild eyes, and a heart of gold. Over 3 films, he earned around $6 million, and he deserved every penny. Lloyd was already a cult favorite from Taxi and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but Doc Brown made him immortal. The chemistry between him and Michael J. Fox? Pure cinematic lightning. Even decades later, Lloyd keeps showing up at fan conventions, still yelling 1.21 gigawatts or like it's 1985. Now the man who made time travel cool, Michael J. Fox. For all 3 films, he earned about $13.5 million, but honestly, he earned eternal stardom. He played multiple characters across time periods and genders and never missed a beat. Fox was already a star thanks to Family Ties, but Back to the Future launched him into pop culture orbit. Every skateboard flip, every whoa Doc, every electric guitar riff, iconic. Today, his fight against Parkinson's has made him even more beloved. Marty McFly isn't just a character, he's a symbol of heart, courage, and good old 80s charm. Bob Gale, the man behind the magic. Without him, there's no DeLorean, no flux capacitor, no enchantment under the sea. As co-writer and producer, he earned around $22 million across the trilogy. But more than that, he shaped one of Hollywood's most perfectly constructed scripts. Every setup, every payoff, textbook screenwriting. Gale understood something few filmmakers do. Time travel isn't about science, it's about emotion. It's about fixing your past and finding your future. He's still involved in keeping the franchise alive, from comics to the Broadway musical. And finally, the man in the director's chair, Robert Zemeckis. With a paycheck of $35 million, he was the highest earner, and for good reason. He not only directed the trilogy, but co-wrote it with Gale. Zemeckis gave the films their rhythm, the perfect blend of heart, humor, and spectacle. Before Back to the Future, he struggled with flops, but this franchise changed everything. It paved the way for Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Forrest Gump, and Cast Away. His work here redefined blockbuster storytelling. Every great time travel movie since has lived in Back to the Future's shadow. Wow, you're still here? That means you enjoyed the show. So how about another ride? The next one might just blow your mind.